Whew. Okay. One more video for the justice. Trying to figure out what you want to call it. For those of you who do not adhere to energy called divine justice, how do we see that in the laws of nature, darling? Okay. So, oh my god, that was so freaking spicy. Be leery of the garlic, darling. It will bite back. So, only half a fucking clove, and my mouth is like, ooh. It's going down though. Okay. It fades away quite quickly. I just finished. I love garlic, but dang. Okay. So, when the laws of nature, the universe, and I know, how about we use cosmos, the laws of the cosmos, not spirituality. I'm about to blow up. That's why I can't do a video on that yet. I am so disappointed in what I used to consider my community. Okay, so the laws of the cosmos. So that's the universe. But there's... Ooh. Speaking of spirit, my breath is gonna be just spectacular. Okay, so don't care. How to present this? Because I literally have my notebook out to start editing and rescripting my class. But I got tapped on the shoulder by spirit, and it's like you need to do a Vicious Savage episode about the... I need to do an episode with Vicious Savage. Is that what we're saying? Do you need to come up? What it be? Ooh! Ooh, some puppy toast. Okay. He's like, I'm not about being on camera. I just want some knuckle nuggets, lady. Okay, so now we got to get into the biology, the laws of nature. Okay, because those are things that okay, so there's common law, which nobody fucking pays attention to. Human rights, what the hell? When we've convinced the massive amount of the global population that there's massive amounts of humans that don't belong here because XYZ reason, common law is out the window. Okay, we don't adhere to it. There's no human rights left because we've allowed them to desecrate them so horribly. Okay. And again, back to my previous video, and now we just have to let them destroy themselves. Okay? I'll hold your hand all the way through that. Don't panic about it, okay? Get your central nervous system under control, and the rest is going to come online. Okay? So, when we consider man's law, we have to consider religious text, religious laws of the land. That's what's happening. So if it's one of the Abrahamics, and it usually is, that's the laws of man. Okay? That's why nobody's receiving any justice right now, because it's baked into the laws that people can do these things and get away with them with little to no repercussion. Okay? If you didn't read your soul contract or your textbook, I can't help you. Go back and read the fine print, kids. It's all in there, just like freaking Prego. Okay? It is in there. Pinky fucking swear. Okay. So there's those two laws that we get to give the middle finger to, basically. The three sets of laws you do not get to give the middle finger to are the laws of nature, which includes this little thing called biology. Then you don't get to give the middle finger to universal law or the spiritual law, which is the laws of breath. You learn how to control your breath and get your breath on your side. Rather than breathing unconsciously, bring it to your consciousness and start experimenting with different modalities of breathing. Things are going to start shifting automatically. Okay. And that central nervous system thing that I was just talking about is greatly assisted by that. Okay. So, laws of spirit, laws of breath. Unfortunately, we've manipulated that into something it was never intended to be. It's like a new religion. Alright. Like I said, it is a video for another day because it's like beating your head against a brick wall because you're trying to comprehend what it is that their end goal is, and then when you realize it, it's just in line with the billionaire's other... Like, now what? Okay, so... breathing that out. Let's get back to the biology. The nature will always tell us. Nature will always tell us. So when we have a general population that is behaving out of consciousness because it's been hijacked, okay? Let's just accept that as it's the new normal. Only that's the way it's been forever and a day. We're just... The new normal is there's a whole slew of people on the planet that are waking up to, like, seeing this actually play out in real time by what general population is leaning towards. What they want to watch, what they're watching, how they're watching it, how they're responding to it, how they're reacting it, how they're bringing that into their own realities, okay? Those are all laws of nature. Science wants to hijack that from you. I wouldn't let them, because that's going to greatly affect how you live your life, okay? And when I say science, I mean all people who have been heavily indoctrinated into an education system that is obviously been hijacked and corrupt, okay? So we've got a lot of detoxing to do. Now, I'm not saying throw all the knowledge out. I am saying you need to be vigilant on how you are presenting that as wisdom to people, okay? It's different. Remember to taste the pudding before you sculpt it down, okay? Taste the pudding, and then look at your own poo for a second and go, is that coming out how it's supposed to? I mean, I hate to use that kind of metaphor, but I chose the pudding. Now we gotta look at the poo, okay? How is that actually coming out? Where's the benefit of the pudding? Okay? Assess the situation. And yeah, get into those deep, dark spaces that you're like, ew. No, you need to go there. You need to get comfortable with it. You need to get calm with it, because it is you. It is you. Why are you rejecting parts of yourself? Why are you shaming parts of yourself that are just a natural function of existing in a human meat suit? Everyone does it. If they don't, they have a bag that does it for them. Okay? Okay. So, get past the ooh poo poo part. Okay? Just move past it. Come on. You can do it. Laws of nature. Okay? Laws of nature do not get to be broken. You can torture, mutilate, rape, brutalize, poison, and end nature, but you do not get to ignore the laws of it. There are repercussions, okay? So, how can we look at this? Let's see. $10 billion paid out by Bayer Monsanto for a chemical that's nice. It's glyphosate isn't doing any harm. Yes, thank you, Sherlock. Sit the fuck down. It's not glyphosate. If you can't be bothered to lift your Nazi white coat finger to flip the dumb bitch of a bottle around and look up which ingredient it is, because once you find it, I guarantee you gon' know it. Because it's gonna put some warlords behind some prison bars. And we're spraying it in our lawns. So when someone tells you to go touch grass, they're basically telling you to fuck off and get cancer. How sweet is that? And I'd be willing to bet that those people knew that. So science is not an innocent, sweet little, look at how beautiful nature is. Yeah, you didn't make that. You're just observing it and torturing it, plucking it apart, dissecting it, and calling it advancement, while poisoning the crap out of it. Blowing bugs' stomach up. Okay? Be whatever chemical you can get your freaking Nazi white coat hands on. Oh. There, I said it. Okay? So what is that creating though? So when we spray crops with a shit ton of chemicals trying to kill off herbs and bugs and whatever else, we're creating stronger, wiser species of plants, weeds, and, and insects. Meanwhile, killing off the bees that are responsible for pollinating everything, dun dun dun, we eat. That's science, boys and girls. When we create a lovely little chemical reaction that has an explosive thing that's put in a metal container that flies out of a plane with a specific destination in mind, that's science. It's not the military. Soldiers are not doing those calculations and learning how the chemical reaction happens and how light or heavy the bomb needs to be for how far and in which direction it needs to go. That is science, boys and girls. That is science. Okay. Ignoring women's health care. That's science. Focusing only on the white males. Well, because they are the weakest, but that's science. That's science. Our entire medical healthcare system is science. I don't think that this is a good plan, kids. I don't think it's a great plan. In the school of life, it ain't working out so great because the number one leading cause of death on the U.S. register is medical malpractice. The second is heart disease. The third is diabetes. The fourth, schmuicide. All schnauzy white coat communities. Okay? So when you get both Baconator clans in the same room arguing over which one, gets the body count with more ethical backing, you're not picking the right team, kids. Okay? Then you've got, the psychological warfare rabbit hole, aside from schmuicide, of having psyop after psyop after psyop of the human psyche. Just desecrating what you can figure out in your own system to be true or false. And then you've got AI telling you what's real and what's not. You got people living inside of computer games. That's science. Somebody had to do the research. Somebody had to collect the data, use the scientific method, and implement it. Science. Alright, let's take but medical advancement. Okay, let's take it for a second. Second leading cause of death, heart disease. Because I live where I live and I know who I know. I know that research was done that involved torturing, for lack of a YouTube word to use, brutalizing 6 alphabets of sheep for a heart stent made out of, wait for it, paper clips. Literal paper clips. Purchased it off Amazon. pulled the paper clips apart, put them back together to make a stent-like object, so it closed in and opened up on command with just a pull of one. I'm not kidding you. I wish this was some kind of sick joke. Here's the real kicker. After 6 alphabets of sheep, they thought they nailed it, released it to the market. Started killing people. So they had to have it recalled. That is science. Okay, Francis Bacon created science and religion at the same time. Okay, he took the wise women out of the tribes because he knew that was happening already. Set it to reality and said, okay, now that we've tortured, mutilated, and got all the info from the healers, we're going to translate into this mechanism for a group of incels to use. That's what they were. You couldn't carry forth anything like this and see humanity in anything, much less, especially women. Okay? And they gave it religion and science to incels. You would have to be of a mindset that you deem unworthy other human beings. You would have to be of that mindset, which is why they had to have been incels. Because anybody who's not numb from the brain down would have been like, fuck this, knock it off. Which is why so many people had to... And we took them out of the breeding pool. Biology. Obeys. Okay, so this instills that history repeating itself in Nazi Germany. Okay. It repeated itself to Khan, through Mao, Stalin. We took the people who knew what the fuck was going on the planet out of the gene pool. And now we get to scratch our monkey brains, which they're not, about how and why this could have possibly come about. Oopapes. Okay? So that's the neuroscience, or not neuroscience, but the biological science. When you mess with the biological gene pool and take the people who actually comprehend how things play out on the planet and you just vet them off, you're going to create a narrative in every facet that is geared toward total extinction, because it's taking vast amounts of information, intel, and vetting it. And science and religion have both ignored this for thousands of years. And anybody who stuck their hand or head up got nailed down. And now we have a lovely little whatchamacallit of people that do not have any sense of how life conducts itself here on this plane of existence. And so we are going to continue to repeat the narrative. It's like the spiritual community is holding their cup underneath the pipes to the meat grinder and just collecting the juices and going, this is the path forward, because these people are now having to realize they better get the fuck out of the meat grinder before it's finished. And handing you a high vibe juicy cup and tell you to drink up. And it's just repeating a narrative. It's just a repeat of a repeat of a repeat. And I'm here telling you, that ain't it either. It can't be. It won't be. Okay? So, and I'm not saying that, like, we have a choice between extinction or something else entirely. I'm telling you, there are more than two choices. So if you're not on a spiritual train, that's okay. Because I feel like I'm at a station myself, waiting for something else to come along, and it's not. And so I'm having to just be patient for a hot second, which is not difficult for me. I've had training in doing that my whole life, but the prospects of the future are endless, and we do not have the luxury right now of listening to outside sources. We need to go inside and know how our own nature works and how that resonates to the nature that's beneath our feet. We cannot afford to start listening to outside sources. We have to go inside. We have to get the nervous system in alignment. And we have to... I know, baby. You see here? Lily's like, meow. Yes, my love. Good girl. Why is so sweet? Okay. She's not the type to get up. She doesn't like to... She's not a very camera girl, but she'll tell you. She'll back me up. So we just need to stay on the sovereign train to make sure that everything that comes in is correct. That the outcome is being taken into account. That you're not going into something blind, deaf, and dumb because someone says this is the way forward. Okay. I'm getting a lot of ticks about the four winds. Because it seems to be a pretty reasonable, regulated system. But the problem is getting... Excuse me, pardon me. Ooh, the garlic. The problem is getting the patriarchal, societal mindsets on a train that has a lot to do with taking the feminine perspective into account. Not erasing the masculine perspective. That's not what's going to move us forward. Although we do need to keep in mind that the Y chromosomes are so shriveled, the Schnauzy white coats can't recognize them. We do need to keep that in mind. But I don't think it has anything to do with what society, what they want us to think it is. I think that they're still sovereign beings. They still have their own hearts, minds, and whatever else. It's just... we might be going back to the way it was in the beginning, which is androgynous. And a lot of people have yet to accept that and know that we did not have sex in the beginning. There was no phallic symbols in the beginning. And unfortunately, we've treated it so terribly, abused it so bad that biology is like, well, okay, if that's what you want to do with it, we're gonna put a stop to that right quick for you. So, on an evolutionary standpoint, this whole division thing was a terrible idea. Okay. So, and people are saying it's not going to happen for billions of years. But there's a lot of men and women not having babies right now. And that's why the gazillionaires are like, you need to be having more babies. Who's going to slave for us? I don't want to do it. Okay, so... Sorry. You know, people think they're smart. I'm like, I don't get that. If they were intelligent beings, if they were genuinely intelligent, they would have freaking never. Unless the outcome they are aiming at and desiring is actual extinction. That's the only way that they would be intelligent creatures, if they were aiming at extinction. Because this is the fastest way to it. That's the only way they could be semi-intelligent human beings. Just saying. On a biological scale. they would have to be either aiming at extinction or just blitzed out of their freaking existence themselves. Hence why it's producing the outcome it is, which is extinction. But, okay, so when you don't have people in a place of deciding things that know how life works, how it conducts itself, you're already on the extinction path. It's just inevitable. It's just inevitable. And we shame farmers so much. We shame them, and now look what they're doing in France. We just shame them constantly, endlessly. Fuck, those are the people that bust their ass to feed us. Okay. Do you see how nonsensical we are as a human species? Like, even the apes that we supposedly came from, which we didn't, Darwin's gonna have to suck a bag of dirty ones. I'll die on that hill. Okay. The things that actually sustain us, they're looking to... So, but even the apes and monkeys, or whoever the fuck, gorillas, number one, they beat their chests. They're intelligent creatures. They know how to activate that compassion. Number two, they're not out there fucking their own environment. They're not out there creating ways to screw their own food supply over. They're not out there creating havoc so people don't have, their fellow family members and tribe don't have clean water and whatever else. We do that. I don't think human consciousness was the tragic misstep. I think hierarchy was. Just like I think hierarchy was. The importance on one person in the system over the other. The people that feed us, that kept our environment safe, are the people that we shame the most in the ecosystem. See, those people are literally keeping us alive, keeping us safe, keeping us healthy. What in the actual fuck? People in charge of cleaning the scalpels and the environment and whatever else get paid way less than their doctors do. But they are in charge of making sure the environment, which creates a cell, is sterile. And that right there should tell you everything you freaking need to know about how life actually works. The environment creates a cell. Okay, sorry. I'll get over my frustration. Okay, so the indoctrination system for the white coats is creating a particular biological outcome. Now, whether that was the intent, I don't know. Why a bunch of men would be like, yay, let's shrink our chromosomes to the point where we're cool with extinction. I mean, unless there's... Unless the Medusae just got complete and total control over the corruption of it. I don't know, dude. They say that, like, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad were all visited by that group of ladies with gifts. I will make you fishes of men. little different, doesn't it? So there's some food for thought. While I wash this garlic out of my mouth. Okay, so on a biological standpoint, divine justice is having its way on that scale as well. So, if you don't like the idea of a deity, you got nature doing its thing. It would definitely solve a lot of problems if we didn't have to worry about sexual function. Take a lot of trauma off the planet. Allow for genuine love and connection to reemerge. Allow us to shift our focus on what actually sustains us rather than abusing the crap out of the system that we're supposed to honor when we bring life through our portals, which will be taken away from us because we'll be able to impregnate ourselves. There's lots of creatures on the planet that already do that. Oddly enough, a lot of them are like lizards and reptiles and chickens, frogs, and different reptiles. And they're all like, damn the lizard brain! Yeah, that's probably what's going to save our ass, kid, because you've been abusing it for so long. It's now going to have to step in and step up and save us. Everything's connected. You don't get to just sever things. You abuse one thing, the whole system gets corrupt. Okay, so there's your justice on the biological level. If you don't appreciate the energetic one, we got some translations up and how you force you, but the energy isn't going to go away. So get accustomed to watching the pattern play out, see how everything interlinks and plays together. And if, it'll come online eventually. If it's got to do it through the natural processes that you need to witness, then so be it. Don't shame yourself out of that. Just keep going, okay? Until next time, dear heart, keep your flame.